He was in the bathroom while I was taking a shower. When I was 17, I was at my boyfriend Tom's house, which was his dad's house, and my boyfriend's dad went to town to get some food, as the house was miles away from town and very secluded. We had just been mudding, and I was so filthy, so I took a shower while my boyfriend watched TV. The walls were pretty thin, so I could hear that a man came into the house, and I could tell by the way Tom was speaking that it wasn't his dad. A few minutes later, my boyfriend says he wants to shower with me because the mud was very uncomfortable. About 5 minutes in, we started making out. We made out for a while, and then just out of the corner of my eye, I see a black flash, and then the water got really cold. I didn't think to look out, and Tom and I just kept kissing after we adjusted the water. Tom wanted to sit down, so he did, and the movement tossed the shower curtain around, and I got a glimpse of what was on the other side. Standing there was a large black man staring at us. I scream, and Tom says, "Man, what are you doing in here?" And the guy says, "Just letting you know that I see your dad driving down the road, so you may want to get out of the shower." Turns out the guy was Tom's dad's best friend, so Tom knew him. We got out and I was shaking. I tried to get away from him and go to Tom's bedroom, but he followed me. He asked me if he could finish me off with his tongue. I felt sick to my stomach. I was 17 and this guy had to be in his 40s or so. It scared me so bad that I ran out of the bedroom and demanded to be taken home. I didn't realize until recently that this could have ended much worse. A lot of things really bother me about the situation. I have no idea why he would reach in and turn the water to make it colder. And I wonder why my boyfriend didn't take it as seriously as I did. He wasn't creeped out at all. So, weird guy that took a peek at me in the shower. Let's not meet. He was looking at me in the shower. This happened a very long time ago. I was between 7 and 10 years old. I can't remember exactly. It's not something I've ever forgotten, even though I'm nearly 30 years old now. It didn't seem like a big deal when I was a child, but as I've gotten older, it creeps me out more and more. Background: I was in a father-daughter organization for a few years with my dad and several other girls and their dads. We all lived in the same area. It was a lot of fun. We went camping, did crafts, etc. It was a good old-fashioned father-daughter bonding that I still look back on with fond memories. Except this random memory. One time, our group went camping. It wasn't true camping, as there were group bathroom facilities that all the dads and the daughters shared. Anyways, my little self was in one of the shower stalls. You know, the kind, concrete floor with cheap plastic panels dividing the other stalls from each other in the hall. Since the plastic panels weren't fixed in place, there was about a 6-inch gap from the wall to the panel. I knew there was someone in the shower next to me, and as a young girl, I was curious about people and bodies, etc. Yay, growing up. Feeling nervous, I leaned back in the shower to try and see through the gap. Peering back at me, mouth wide open, was one of the other girls' dads. And as soon as he saw me, he just kind of jumped and quickly disappeared from my sight. My heart was pounding, and I immediately felt like I was in trouble. As a child, I automatically assumed I had done something wrong, and he had caught me and would tell my dad that I was peeking on him in the shower. The rest of the trip, I was sick worrying that my dad would say, "Whoever's dad told me what you were doing." But nothing ever happened, and her dad never said anything either. Eventually, I forgot about it. I still don't think about it much, but when it pops into my head, it gives me the complete heebie-jeebies. I can still remember the exact look on this guy's face, his naked torso, the fear I felt in my chest that I was the one being bad. As an adult, I realized that he was watching me shower, and I just happened to catch him doing it. We all went on so many overnights as a group. I always wonder if he creeped on the other girls as well. I never said anything about it. 20 years later, it still creeps the hell out of me. I was supposed to be in the shower. For anyone who has graduated from high school or undergrad or your master's or doctorate program, you know the wonderful feeling of waking up that first summer after graduation. It was nice. For the first time in years, I didn't have a consistent obligation. Yes, I still had work, but for the moment it was only part-time, and I love sleeping in on my days off. I'm not a morning person, so it was nice to let my body wake up naturally for the first time after all the stress of finals, works, and the graduation ceremony. Needless to say, I woke up really late, at around 11 a.m. At the time, I was still living with my grandmother, and I guess she had left the house already because when I checked around, she was gone. I texted a couple friends and decided to meet for a late lunch after I got ready. Normally, I don't like showering in an empty house since I use the bathroom in the basement, recently remodeled bathroom with better water pressure. It made me uncomfortable. The house had been robbed during my final quarter of undergrad, and it has left us both shaken. Still, that was 3 months ago, and I was starting to feel comfortable enough to do things normally. Come back to the house whenever I wanted from friends and shower in the goddamn basement if I so desired. As I was changing out of my night clothes, someone knocked on the front door. That wasn't too unusual, as my grandmother's friends often came knocking at random hours. Seriously, Asian grandmothers have crazy meeting times. One came over at 1 a.m. to watch a late-night soap opera with my grandma. My bedroom faces the front of the house. I can see the street, front lawn, and front door from my window. I check out my blinds and see an African-American woman knocking on the door. The woman is wearing a bright red sweatshirt, which I think is odd since it is summer and pretty hot out. She doesn't ring the bell, only knocks, pretty insistently. This might have been a bad habit, but I don't answer the door if I'm home alone, and I don't recognize the knocker. Plus, I just wanted to shower and be on my way, so I ignored her. She had left by the time I had grabbed my towel and headed down in a robe. However, once I start to shower, I realized I left my new bottle of conditioner upstairs in the shopping bag from last night and ran up to grab it. I dig out the bottle and hear a thud come from the backyard. It sounded like something had been knocked over. My grandmother has a lot of crap in her backyard, so I head out into the hallway, intending to look out the window. Now, my grandmother's house is small, so if you stand in a certain spot in the hallway, you can see out the kitchen window and into the backyard. It was as I stepped into the spot that I saw a man in our backyard. He was wearing a bright blue and green hooded coat, which was odd for summer, and looking into the window. I thought the man could not see me in the hallway because of the angle he was looking in at. My stomach drops, and I race back to my room and grab my cell phone. When I get back to the hall, I can't see anyone. I go to the kitchen window and dial my mom. There is no one in the backyard. My mom says I should start making noise, but she hopes that it was just someone passing through, hopping fence to get somewhere. I turn the TV on full blast and turn towards the kitchen, intending on self-triggering the alarm we had. It was just a door sensor, but it made a loud noise. In the next second, I freeze. My mom would later tell me that I sounded robotic. As I said, there are 2 of them. He has a brick. I have to call 911. Walking up our steps towards the back slider door was an African-American male in a dark blue hooded coat holding a brick. He raised it to smash the glass sliding door as the dispatcher picked up. Meanwhile, my body moved on instinct. I booked it through the kitchen and living room to the front door. I probably flashed the 2 would-be intruders since I was in a sloppily tied bathrobe. With surprisingly steady hands, I threw open the front door, triggering that sensor as I blurted, "2 men are trying to break into my house!" I prantle off the address as I hear a thud from the backyard. I look back and see no one. I turn around to see the man in the dark blue coat run across our front yard and into a car. Someone in red was sitting in the front seat, the woman from before. I slam the door shut since they're driving away, and I don't see the man in the blue and green coat. The police arrived shortly after that. Apparently, they had been getting break-in and attempted break-in calls in our area all morning. I'm so thankful that they did not get into our house. The trio were never caught. My uncle checked out the backyard after the police left. He stood at the window and had me stand in the hallway again. Looking in, he called, "Alice, I can see you." But what scares me the most is, what if I had remembered to bring the conditioner? I would have been naked in the shower as they broke in. But apparently that was just not my day, because by the time I actually pulled myself together, I broke down crying after the cops left and head out to see my friends. I found out that the light rail is closed for the next couple of hours, and our man attacked people at the nearby light rail station, which was on the way to the meeting place with my friends, and shot people. This happened around 1, which was when I was supposed to meet my friends. We had delayed the meeting time after I texted them about the almost break-in. I had my friends come to me via bus and didn't leave the house for the rest of the day.